Hi au pairs, hi host families. I'm Martha from Au Pair on Air. I am a new mother and an ex au pair. I created this YouTube channel, Au Pair on Air, and it's really new and it will be focused exclusively on advice for au pairs and for you as host families as well. I want all of you to be included to some extent, so I would love to interview some of them in the future. I would love for you to send in your questions so I can gather some information and answer them in my upcoming videos. A few of you have already sent me questions, and today I would like to answer a question that I received from Carolina. Hi Carolina. So her question was focused around families that expect their au pair to do a lot of housekeeping, a lot of cleaning for the whole family and basically run the household. So I will go through how to best approach the situation, hopefully solve it. Now I have prepared quite a lot of notes because I'm a bit of a geek, so excuse me for looking down every once in a while, but I want to make sure my answers actually have some meat to them and they're valuable to you. Let me start by saying that there cannot be one fits all answer. All I can do is give you my best advice, tell you based on my experience how I would approach the situation, and from my perspective as a mother, how I would like it to be approached if I was in the situation of your host family. Hopefully this will be helpful to you, Carolina, and to other pairs in your situation. If it is, please give the video a thumbs up because it will help me figure out what kind of content you like for future videos. But I've prepared 4 steps for you. So here's step number 1. Step number 1 is figuring out how much housekeeping is too much housekeeping. Let me start with a general observation that is not referring to anyone, any of you in particular. It's just a general observation. But there are some au pairs that expect this job to be a holiday and they don't expect to lift a finger. Now that's not fair on anyone. If you want to be a member of a household, you have to contribute. If you want to be treated as an adult, you have to act like an adult. So you have to step up to your responsibilities. You are looking after children, and children create mess that needs to be tidied up, and you also have to tidy up after yourself. Let me point out a few of the tasks that I did in the 3 host families I stayed with. So some of them were vacuuming the house, helping with food preparation, especially when parents are at work, dusting the child's bedroom, ironing the children's clothing, Swiffering the house. Do people still Swiffer? This is a thing still? I swear to you it was like 10, 11 years ago, people Swiffered. Let me know if they still do. I think I already said ironing the children's clothes. So you will see a lot of the tasks that I looked after were focused around the children. I never questioned that. Like for me, that was totally fine. With that being said, there are families that take advantage of au pairs. If you arrive and you are presented with a long list of chores that have nothing to do with the children, if you're expected to clean the parents' bedroom, clean the parents' bathroom, iron daddy's underwear, shirts, who irons underwear anyway, but shirts is bad enough. Basically, as soon as you're expected to do a lot of housekeeping, that is overstepping the boundaries of looking after the children, and as soon as a majority of your time is spent on housekeeping tasks, you have to consider step 2. Step 2 is think about whether you came to the family with an agency, because if you did come with an agency, there might well be a contract in place that clearly outlines your responsibilities as an au pair. So get on the phone to your agency right away, talk to them before considering any further steps, any further action, and they might actually be able to help you very quickly and solve this problem much easier than you had expected. Step number 3. That awkward conversation with your family that we're all dreading, and believe me, I've been there. I know it's not easy. But if you are truly unhappy with your situation and you are positive that your host family are mistreating you, then you need to take action and have a conversation with them. First of all, I would recommend you have a backup plan in place at this stage. So start looking at other host families just in case your family doesn't change. But hopefully with the tips I'm going to give you, you will have a very smooth, positive conversation and you will end up being much happier where you are. So this is just in case. Let's stay positive. First of all, let me say that nobody likes the confrontation. I'm into my 30s now. I've been working in an office environment for quite a few years now, and I still shy away from confronting my colleagues, and especially my boss. And it's all the harder if you live under the same roof as your boss. So I get it. The key for me to making this conversation successful is to not make it a confrontation. Keep it as positive as possible, and don't spend a lot of time dwelling on the negative. I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. So first of all, consider your wording carefully by putting yourself into the situation of someone who is about to receive unexpected criticism. For your conversation, assume that the family are unaware that you're unhappy and they are not knowingly mistreating you. Explain that you are sad because the reasons you decided to be an au pair were your love for children and your desire to be part of a family, and you're unhappy that the majority of your working hours are currently spent cleaning and housekeeping. Please also point out that you are, of course, perfectly happy to contribute to the running of the household. Now, this part is important. No boss likes problems. Bosses like solutions, okay? So, point out your problem briefly, like I just told you, and then, just a second. My son dropped his toy. But then swiftly present them with a solution to the problem. In your case, I would suggest coming prepared with a schedule that clearly outlines your working hours for every day of the week and how much of that time you would like to spend housekeeping. Also outline clearly the different tasks you would like to do in terms of housekeeping and how long you're expecting them to take you. This will show your family that you are a mature adult who is in control of their obligations. It will also make it very easy for your host family to just sign off on your schedule that you suggested without them having to think of a solution themselves. You've already done most of the work for them. Now, in regards to how much housekeeping you should put in your schedule for every day, of course that depends on your situation. There was one family where I spent 1 hour a day doing light housekeeping, but that was because I looked after a 5-month-old baby who was asleep during the day a lot, so I had a lot more time to dedicate to housekeeping. If you have children that require a lot more supervision, then of course downscale it accordingly. 1 hour per day is quite generous, and of course it also depends on your overall working hours and your overall pay. So the moral of all of this is, like I said earlier, don't spend a lot of time dwelling on the problem, but get to the solution of the problem quickly. Okay, now that we've put that behind us, let's get into step 4. Step 4 is basically just waiting out the reaction of your host family and deciding on further steps. You know what? They might just accept your solution and your schedule, sign off on it, and you will be much happier from now on. But if they don't, if they just completely ignore your conversation or things even get worse, then you might want to consider changing host families. And sorry, my son dropped his toy. I will make a video on how to approach changing families in the very near future, because it's something I had to go through myself and it wasn't easy. But hopefully this advice will be helpful for you, and after you've had this conversation with your family, things will get much better for you. pairs, host families, please feel free to add your own advice in the comments. We can all benefit from each other's experience. Because this is a brand new channel, I would very much appreciate your feedback on what kind of content you would like to see in the future. So leave that in the comments. And if you like advice videos like this one, then please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Bye.